Peace is something that we often, as men, search for, but seems hard to find. And we find ourselves in many situations drowning ourselves in various different things, thinking that's going to bring us peace. I'm for one who I've done that in many occasions, got myself lost in either a book or talking to someone or doing various different things, thinking I can come up with some peace, right? Looking for something a little bit more external than it was internal. Be it that I was out here trying to get, looking for and trying to improve on my ambitions or trying to make some type of headway in life. I was always thinking that that was going to bring me peace. If it was having relationships with women or various different things, that was going to bring me peace. But as I got older, and it's not because I'm older, because my body is older, but as my mind got older, as my thinking starts settling down, I find that the peace that I thought was there really wasn't. I was listening to a podcast on a documentary about Andre 3000 and how in his career he started out one way, but it wasn't him. And at some point, he had to really just start tapping into who he really was. And he lost himself in various different ways. And if a lot of you who don't know who Andre 3000 might be, he's one of the members of Outkast, a rap group here from Atlanta. And so as I listened to this documentary, I'm like, man, God, man, I understand exactly where he was going. And as he got older, right now, he started kind of having some of these thoughts as a young man. And to be honest with you, we all do. A lot of us as men, we try to tap into it, but we tap into it in the wrong ways. We do a lot of destructive things, and as we get older, we start settling down and trying to figure it out. Well, I'm older now, and I'm happy to be older. Right? I make no bones about me being older, me being an elder in the community, me being a brother who's looked to for some type of guidance, some type of wisdom. I don't run from that. I accept my age. I accept where I am in my age, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that. I found my peace. And here's how I got there, right? And I want to share this with a lot of us who might be in this midlife masculinity, moving from this one space in life and trying to figure it out, trying to transition over to another part of life. And I start understanding that the traditional ways that they were trying to push me, or the things that they had given me as the traditional ways, were actually hurting me. And I read another article about, they coined the phrase menziety, men with this anxiety, right? And so, people love coining words, right? They don't like making words. So we kind of get into a position where we take on a lot of stress, and the reality of it is the world around us, the women in our lives, would rather see us die on our horse with our sword in hand than to get off that horse. right, or to fall off that horse. There is an honor in this stoic lack of vulnerability aspect that they try to make us take on. And you'll have a lot of, no, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to be sensitive. And then the very thing that they want you to do, they're going to not respect you for. They're not going to respect it. And as men, I want you guys to sit back and think, because some woman gonna sit here and tell you that no, that's not right, Brother Hassan. I want you as a man to look at that and tell yourself. You got to tell me how much that is true. And then I want you to be able to tell the people in your lives that that is not how you are experiencing them. That's not how you are experiencing them. If this is true for you, I want you to be able to have that, because here is the first step in getting to peace. There has to be some type of acknowledgement of where you are and what's happening with the people around you. You have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge it, and no one is going to acknowledge it if you don't say something about it first, if you don't acknowledge it first. Because they're going to think they're just moving on with their happy-go-lucky lives and that they're really treating you in the best of ways and all this other type of stuff here, not really understanding that there is a lot of anxiety and stress the way that men are treated by the women in their lives, and in some aspect, even other men, because they have bought into that foolishness that's called tradition. Right? So I want to really kind of jump in and talk about a couple of things that I found that was helpful for me after acknowledging these things around me, acknowledging these experiences that I was having, and getting comfortable with self and talking about it. So how I started getting there and started trying to gain a little bit more peace. And I'm still working on it, because it's not static, it's fluid, right? You have to continue moving with it. The peace just doesn't stop. But as I kind of tell people now, I am tired of pushing this boulder uphill. I'm going to park this thing. I'm parking that boulder. I don't want it to fall back on anybody else. I don't want it to roll back downhill. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chalk that thing. I'm going to put a chalk block up under the thing and set it over here to the side. And because I have more years behind me than I have in front of me, I'm going to walk down the backside of this hill, smelling the roses, taking in the sun rays, listen to the birds chirping. And I'm just going to enjoy this life and enjoy the experience of other people and give people a very good experience of me. And this is how I started thinking about this. So I started looking at it from this perspective here. Some reflective thinking. Just getting to myself, taking time for myself, sitting in my, chair that I love and being comfortable in it, and just start thinking about certain aspects of my life, like not getting caught up in really the idea of what has passed by, because I used to do that a lot. I used to keep my mind in things that really were taking place in my past. How could have did this different? That's more anxiety. Well, that's not anxiety. It's actually going to bring about depression, because that's more stress. Thinking, how could have did this different? Man, this opportunity passed me by. All this type of things here, right? I get caught in that. You just get caught in that. And I know it's somebody out here who's also doing it as well. Some brother that's listening to this podcast right now who actually go through those things of ruminating on past things. Right. So I started getting into some reflective thinking and, just figuring out where I am right now, meditating on where I am right now, breathing, trying to breathe a little differently now, taking it in and pushing it out, inhaling and exhaling. And in that, some people could get into it by meditation. Some people get into it in a state of prayer. However you get into that mode, because I kind of do it various different ways, right? But however you get into that mode, get to where your mind can get at ease and just reflect on the beauty that's in front of you. Stay present. Reflect on where you are right now and where you would like to go. And if you get there, great. If you don't, it's okay. It really is okay. Because you are going to have to be comfortable with you. That's the main thing. You're going to have to be comfortable with you. Because there's going to be somebody in your life, being it your wife, your woman, your kids, other people around you, your family members, they're going to always put their thought of you on you. And what you might not be doing right, or where you can be stepping up a little more, or whatever it might be. Without even asking you how your head and heart today. How you feel today? How's your head and heart today? Where are you mentally today? Now, I want you guys to think of this. How many times have that been asked of you? And what I want you to do is start demanding that be asked. Hey, you keep telling me all this and all that, but you haven't asked me how I'm feeling. You haven't asked me, don't just ask me how it worked today. You know, ask me ask me what was my mindset while I was at work. What was I thinking about while I was at work? What was happening with me while I was working? You know, sometimes, real talk, women, I want you to hear this. Sometimes a man can be at work and he actually thinking about how he really want to be at home with his wife. How he really want to be in her company. But he got to be out here grinding, striving, stressing. Why? Because if he don't, you're going to think he's going to be one of these guys who really trying to live off his woman or trying to shuck his responsibility, not taking accountability. But sometimes a man really just want to be in the comfort of his woman. Sometimes that really does take place. And it takes place a lot. He just want to be able to smell his woman. It ain't got to be about sex. It just be, I want to be next to her. I want to be able to call her name and she can come to me. Or she can be in another room. I can come to her. Not that I got to be stressing about, she think I'm trying to shuck this, or I'm not trying to pay a bill, or I'm not trying to do this, I'm not trying to do that. When you actually looking for him to be emotional, you don't want to accept how his emotions come to you. So what he does is he shell that stuff up. Because if he tell you, you don't know how to take it, then he's not going to feel safe. And contrary to popular opinion, all men want to feel safe. Not just you women. All men want to feel safe. Next, brothers, when you get an opportunity, really, I'm not telling you to get out there and start just trying to lift every piece of iron in the gym or do this or that. But I am saying get to some type of physical activity that will allow you to eliminate that stress. If it's walking, if it is working out, if it's riding your bike, whatever you may have that's going to allow you to do something. If it's working in your yard, cutting your grass, because some people get relaxation out of just go out there mowing their lawn, right? Some people really do that. They like mowing their lawn. And it's not a thing that they look at it as work, but they look at it as a means of being able to get away and get to themselves for a minute. Sometimes that physical activity allow them to then take that mental reflection time. Just go out there cutting the grass, right? One of the things I used to kind of like, was before I lost my vision, was cutting my own grass, right? Just going out there and hitting them lines and make sure looking at them lines. And I look back and said, man, that thing look good. I got them lines coming up in. Then I know how to weed eat and and hit them lines coming through and make sure that the edges was nice and crisp. And I can go back and look at that thing. I'm like, man, my lawn is nice. I did that. And on the same time, I'm not really trying to fix the world problems. I'm just escaping the world and their problems. I got some me time, right? But one thing, this last thing I want to mention, one thing that I really failed to do at some point in life that I'm really trying to learn to do better now was building better social connections. I had people who I was friends with, I had people that I was cool with, and when I was younger, I did a lot of destructive things with some of the people that I was really tight with. And because, we had a lot of youth in us and we had more youth than wisdom, right? And as I get older now, I think I'm learning how to enjoy the company of other men, like-minded men who are trying to, just move in a direction that allows them to experience life at another level that doesn't have to do with anything that's sexual, doesn't have to do anything with going out for money grabbing. It doesn't have to do with anything other than just being content with who they are and being with people who, I don't drink coffee, but I had a very wonderful time with some brothers the other day. And while they was drinking their coffee, I was sitting there, I love to eat. So I was sitting there eating a little something, and the conversation was remarkable. We just had a nice time, just conversing, just enjoying each other's company. One brother hit out, he brought his oil out and dabbed us up on his oil, and the thing was smelling good. We had some like experiences. There's some things that we had some commonality about, and we were connecting on that commonality. Wasn't nothing destructive. Wasn't nothing criminal, right? It was just brothers just having a nice time in a public space, but it like the world wasn't even around us because it was all just us there together, right? Wasn't trying to make sure that we had to look good for the public and all this old type of stuff here, even though, we were some job dressing guys, and we were some clean guys, right? But we wasn't trying to impress, right? We was able to acknowledge what the other person have on, like, man, what you got on, And man, they look at their shoes, man, them shoes, man, let me get them shoes, you know what I mean? And we can have fun with each other. Those are the social connections. One of the things that I learned early, which I had to unlearn, is that I can do this life all by myself. That I don't need anybody. And I was notorious for saying something like that. I don't need nobody. I don't want nobody, because I always felt like people were gonna let me down anyway. But I don't need nobody. I'm gonna do this on my own. I can make it happen. But that's not the way life is supposed to be lived in the first place. We all need somebody. You know, a beautiful thing as being Muslim is that when we pray together, there's more reward for us when we pray together than when I pray by myself. It's just show you how just in the fabric that Allah has created, that he made togetherness more important than isolation. And that's what happens with us a lot of times. We've been taught this isolated mentality, this individual mentality that really does not allow us to get together, to grow, to build, to sustain, to stabilize, because we're all trying to do it all on our own individual island. And there used to be an expression when I was growing up that no man is an island, no man stand alone. We forgot that. We forgot that. We've been told, pull yourself up by your bootstrap, self-made, all this old type of things here. We've been told that. That's what been pushed in the last 30 or 40 years. That's been pushed. And we fell for a hook, line, and sinker. And that's how we got away from peace. It was already rough, brothers. And we made it even more complicated. Let's uncomplicate this thing. Let's ask for what it is that we want without the thing of feeling shamed or feeling guilty about it. And if someone is trying to shame you, when they feeling like they're judging, they want to judge, check them. Don't judge me. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. And give me what it is that I need to be able to enjoy this life, because you want that from me. Give me what it is that I need. And don't look at me thinking that all I really need from you is your body and you to cook and clean for me. Cook my food and clean my house. That's not all I'm looking for from you. And men, quit letting that way of thinking lead you. Quit letting that lead you. And find out who you are. Tap into you, especially as we are getting older. Because here's what's happening. Man, I want you to hear this. They're going to continue to isolate you and put you in this box. Then make you feel like something's wrong with you because you're not getting with their program. And then talk about you when you get into their program. Oh, he's too sensitive. Oh, he's too this. Oh, he's too that. When it's confusing. We'll take away the confusion. Get out of the confusion. Figure out what it is that you need as a man. Get yourself grounded in your masculinity. And ask for what it is that you want. And commit to yourself. Commit to yourself. Peace. That's what this is about today. Peace. Commit to yourself. Peace. And let's ride these last years, however many we got, because no day is guaranteed to anyone. So we're going to live this day. We're going to live these days as if they are our last. But we're going to have the hope of something a little bit more. Not the anxiety, but the hope of more days to come. Hey, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's podcast. Please share. Please share. Please have a conversation. Please have the conversation within your own groups, in your own community. Please have a conversation with your family. Let it be known what it is that you need. Let it be known what it is that you're trying to go. I subscribe to my YouTube channel at that Get Made podcast. That made is M.A.D.E. The Get Made podcast. Continue to check me out here. And of course, 15-minute Friday Frenzy on Friday. It's always that. I missed last week. I was a little ill. So I missed last week. And I'm going to try to do it this week as well because I'm having some procedures taking place for Friday. So, but I'm going to try my best. Even if I have to do it from the side of my bed, I'm going to give me a 15-minute Friday Frenzy. All right. And so, because I like it. I enjoy doing it. So with that, you guys take care. Brothers, you take care. Sisters, love your men. Protect your men. You know, you're looking for them to protect you. But you know, as men, we also need to be protected. We need to be protected. So protect your man, and we're going to see you guys next week. Y'all have a great week, and meet me here.